SpongeBob, imagination. I love saying that.
You downloaded it?
Yeah.
Good.
Cause that's my flow.
I think that it fits you. I like it.
Imagination.
Imagination.
Oop.
Imagination.
Yep.
All right, Miss Jen.
All right, start this one up.
Do it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Small Talk Tuesday.
Meow, meow, meow.
I got that too. I am your host, Jennifer Razan. We have our awesome co-host here, Mr. Ian Hawk McLeod.
Greetings. Buenas. ¿Qué tal?
Yeah.
We're here.
We're here again. Back in the studs.
Back in the studio. I'm excited about this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have personal, investment endeavors associated with your new journey.
It's an amazing journey.
People don't even know.
Not yet. They will in a bit.
They will. It's very exciting. I'm excited for you, even though I'm not part of it. I feel part of it because I know what you're doing and I'm invested.
It's good to be invested.
Oh. So life has taught me that it's good to be invested, but non-attached to outcome or resolution or how it unfolds. But yeah, I'm invested in this one.
Good, because it's an amazing one. So let's get, I guess.
Yeah, let's just start it out. You have this vision to take this. I would call it a pilgrimage.
It is.
So, when did this vision of this place, and tell me how this all unfolded? What year?
So, to start, once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. Once upon a time.
I believe it was around 2016, 2017-ish, around there.
This is 7 or 8 years ago. Just for those that need to do math. Go ahead.
Math.
Yeah, we're not very good at it. I mean, obviously, because we're about to talk about a place that doesn't use feet, inches, or yards. They use centimeters.
And kilometers.
That's right. Continue.
So the conversion is like math.
Education in America.
Yeah, so
7 or 8 years ago.
7 or 8 years ago. And a family friend of ours mentioned this pilgrimage that takes place in northern Spain. It's called the El Camino de Santiago. You gotta say it that way.
El Camino de
Santiago.
El Camino de Santiago, which means it's the street of Santiago.
Well, it's
the road, the path.
And if you can do little translations, called the Way of St. James.
Wow, the Way of St. James.
Which is St. James, for those who aren't familiar with religious, figures.
Bring the context right here.
Yeah, he is the apostle of Jesus from Christianity. And he, as legend goes, or as the story goes, he ended up in Santiago, where apparently his remains are in the cathedral there. So over the last however many centuries, I guess, is like people have been following that path that he took.
From France to Spain.
Santiago to Spain. Yeah. Which is about 500 miles. And kilometers, it would be about 700.
Wow. 700 kilometers. It's just a pathway, basically a pilgrimage, a road that you're saying that St. James was a apostle of the Jesus Cristo, Jesus. And many centuries ago, he took this path. And he took the path from France to Santiago, España, because he was preaching the gospel, no?
Yes, pretty much. Okay. And from there, people who, before it used to be just, a select, not really, I guess those who were in the religious life would be the ones to follow that path. But over the years, it's just more and more people who aren't even religious to begin with. Some of them are just spiritual or not at all, or they could be, atheist, agnostic, have been, going through that path, walking this path. And it has been something that once I kind of learned more about it, it was something I knew that I wanted to do. But at that point in time, I didn't know when.
So 7 years ago, you heard it from a family member about the El Camino? And then when you heard it, you're like, that seems far, or you're like intrigued.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've always been, the outdoorsy kind of type. I love hiking.
True.
I enjoy walking for sure.
True.
And just
biking
and running and other things. Yeah. And this is one of those things where I felt if I was going to do it, it was going to be something that I wanted to do for myself. And learning, once you read more in depth of it, you kind of realize like the purpose of it. So for my purpose of it really is just to find kind of a self-reflection, self-discovery. Because this is going to be a pretty big trip for me, doing a solo trip.
Yeah, so you're taking a solo trip, and you're going in April, May? When are you going?
May.
So May. So you're a few months away. We've learned from other from other previous podcast episodes that you obviously run. You've been running marathons, and to me, I'm very intrigued by this as your friend too. Is like this idea that my mom's Filipina and you're Filipino, so the idea is that we have this Catholic, the roots of Catholicism, are deeply embedded. But the idea is like it is a spiritual walkabout you're about to do.
It is,
and I also think it's also incredible because we've talked about being Filipino as like me. I'm very white Filipino, but it's more because my mom's very light mestiza because of the Spanish blood, and so you're kind of returning to part of the roots of our heritage in general too. No.
In a lot of ways, yeah. And just walking in the footsteps of millions of people who have walked before me, and just experiencing, really, if you think about it, like the solitude of it all. Because there'll be moments I'll be walking by myself, out in the middle of nowhere. But there'll also be moments where I'll be walking with fellow pilgrims, making that, Camino family that I'll be building while I am there.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, this idea of a Camino family, because you think, it's like it's a sojourn, but the idea is like it is a walkabout because anytime you're traveling, 500 miles, how many kilometers?
700 around there.
Yeah, 700. That you're not walking one day or a marathon. It's like, hey, I'll have to go 5 hours. You're going for days, right?
Days, yeah. I'll be... For my itinerary, it's about 33 days.
You're gonna be walking for 33 days?
Yep. I've heard people do it for 26, 28 days, and some people for 35 to 40 days. So it really varies on what your plan is, I guess, or as what we like to call it, as like in your own Camino, walking your own Camino. So whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, they're having people who do it in sections.
Right. But you're hardcore. You kind of are like, let's do this.
Yeah.
33 days. So you'll start on what day?
Well, I get there
April.
Oh, no, May 13th. I land in France May 13th. So I have like at least half a day, night to rest, and then the next day, that's when I start.
Eat a French Rice Krispie treat, and then start going.
Oh, that'd be awesome if they had that there.
That was a bad joke.
I mean, whatever the albergue hostel has for me.
Amazing. Have you thought about the significance of like? This feels like a marker in your life, no? It feels very much like. Could you show me a notebook?
I did.
What is that notebook?
So in 2018, I went to Spain for the first time. Just a regular vacation with Mama J. We'd gone to Barcelona and Madrid, and one of the first places we went to was Santiago de Compostela, and visited the cathedral there, and seeing all the pilgrims come in and whatnot. And I was like, I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be me one day. And in the gift shop, I saw a notebook. It's like one of those Moleskine notebooks. And it had a kind of a golden clamshell embossed in the front. So one of the things in the Camino that, just to preface, is that the clamshell is kind of like a universal symbol of the Camino.
Yeah, so you'll see it all the way through the country.
Yeah, you'll see it all the way there. And it's a great way marker too, so you're never going to really get lost. And the thing with the Camino is there's so many different routes, but the one I'm doing is the Camino Frances, which is the French way, which is the main popular one that everyone does. So eventually at some point I'll probably do the other Caminos too, but this is one that I particularly wanted to do most. So back to the notebook. So I bought that, in
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Math.
Yep. And I told myself, when I go on that Camino, I will open this package and bring that notebook with me so I could write down my thoughts, things that I see, put down, or stick things in there just to kind of like my memory book.
It's a diary.
Mm-hmm. A diary.
Yeah. What do you think you'll experience on the path?
So many different things. I already know, I'm putting myself out there in terms of getting out of my comfort zone. I talked about a few weeks ago about getting social anxiety and being with crowds and strangers and whatnot. And this is a lot of me getting out there and opening myself up to that, kind of like facing that fear almost. Mm. Really, it's a lot of it's like, for me personally, it's a path of self-discovery. What I'm capable of, kind of letting go of things I don't need, resetting myself in a way. Because, I turned 40 this year. I mean, we talked about that. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things I knew was like, on my 40th, I am going to do this journey to help myself open up a new chapter of, hopefully lead me to where I'm supposed to be. Get myself, clear-headed in terms of, the path that the universe or, God wants me to, go at.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Robert Frost vibe to it, right? It's that you really are choosing your own path, and I think it's partially it's romantic, but the idea is like it is a very meditative thing that you have to look at as like it's not a marathon. Actually, it's more. It's an unwalked path, and so the idea is like 33 days. You can be like, yeah, watch it for 33 days. It's more like, no, for 33 days, I kept my heart open to being with what is. And then hopefully the idea is that, this path of self-discovery. Mm-hmm. Discovery only remains or is found in the exploration. Mm-hmm. And so part of you going out, I think, that's what's so exciting to me is like when you expose yourself to go into anywhere different for 3 or 4 days, it's like, oh, that's so cool. But if you're living the land, living the law of the land, or living in that environment for 33 days, that's essentially a full immersion.
Right.
So, I mean, you probably don't feel any fear of just, I mean, you're giant in stature, but you're a 5-foot woman and you're going by yourself, but yeah. I don't feel any weirdness about it. I don't feel danger or anything. I feel like you're about to walk into something that you're prepared for.
I'm like 50-50 at the moment, because even though we're just like maybe like a couple months out, it's one of those things where I do feel a bit of anxiety because this is going to be the longest I've been away from my comfort zone of home, but also at the same time because I know I'm in the place where I'm not going to be, feel like there's any kind of weird danger. There's so many people doing the same journey as me, but in their own personal way. So I think that almost brings me comfort knowing that there'll be others with me out there, so I don't have to feel too afraid.
So do you think you have to bring like a some kind of spray for bears or humans? Any kind of?
Nah, I don't think so. No? I don't even know. I don't think there's bears there.
Yeah, that's true. I just got back from Nashville, so I have a little bear fear.
Really?
Yeah, there's rules of engagement with bears.
Ooh.
Yeah, you won't have to deal with that there. I love the idea of the notebook, though, because it just captures your thoughts, your experiences, but I do think that you're going to find some quiet moments by yourself in nature or at night when it's quiet. That maybe something will arise deeper from the mind, but actually spring from the heart. I'm curious if there'll be things that will, as you said, direct you to the next thing in your life. If anything, I've learned that life is completely impermanent. Mm-hmm. It's fragile at best, but also, our perception of things is only one perception.
Right.
So I think you going in with an open heart and intention is that I'm sure what you'll fill that notebook with will be quite different than what you thought it would be.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I have no expectations of what I will be filling it with. I just know I'll be filling it with something. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, I'm just going to let it, go with the flow, as I've been saying the last few weeks. So it's like, it's going with the flow of things. There's so many things I'm going to see out there that I've never probably seen before. Meeting people from all different kinds of countries, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Are you going to, I was wondering, is there another, not a project within the project, but do you think that because I had a tendency to see every experience as like a way to share a story, but are you going to take time to speak with and record any of the conversations you have with fellow travelers, or kind of play by ear and see what happens? Or
mainly play it by ear. I do want to respect, the pilgrims out there. If they're comfortable talking to me, then cool. If not, I will respect their space. I don't want to force them into something that, they don't want to do.
Well, you're a filmmaker, so I think there's an intuitiveness about being a filmmaker where you just kind of, part of it is, asking. Part of me, I ask because I know it's always a no until it's a yes, but it's a no unless you ask.
You're like, can you talk now? Can you talk now?
Exactly. But I think I'm excited because I think that although we talked today in the middle of, March, and then you'll be leaving in 2 months, that perhaps you'll meet somebody or people that will surprise you. It might be someone that you'll end up knowing the rest of your life.
Yeah. No, I've heard stories of people who still keep in contact with their Camino family over the years. And it's like, it's one of those things because you bond with them in this journey of however long they've been walking that same path. And it's, it's something special, and I will say that, not too many people will be able to do this same pilgrimage as I am doing. It's only one of those, like, if you can afford it, or if one of those things where you have time, or, so many different reasons why, so many won't be able to do it, or, may not be able to do it.
Yeah, I think, above that, it's like you think about the millennia of time that people have walked the Camino in different centuries. Mm. And then most people can't do it now. So the idea that whoever you meet, can you imagine all the kind of, coherence, connection, alignment for you guys to have crossed the path at the same moment in time it's pretty magical.
Exactly. That's one of the things I've always believed, that the people we get in or contact with, no matter what point in our lives, you're supposed to meet them at that point.
Facts. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be, so you're carrying essentially a backpack, and then you just carry this backpack with all your stuff in it, and you just live out of that bag?
Pretty much. I did get it last week, my official hiking pack.
Okay.
So I'm going to start practicing with that, adding some weight to it, so I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like everything I need will be in that one backpack for 33 days.
You gonna bring some detergent? Or?
Yeah. I'll be doing laundry probably like every other night or every night. So I got like 3 pairs of clothes, just enough to alternate and mix and match.
I'm one of those guys who would just be like 1 shirt, 1 pant, 1 short, 33 pairs of underwear and socks. Because, it gotta be fresh, I'm weird. But I guess you bring enough to get by, and then you gotta go wash them, and then hang them and get up in the morning and go.
Mm-hmm, pretty much.
Sounds treacherous.
Yeah, unless you're not used to hand washing or using certain washing machines, I guess.
All right, I got a quiz for you.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you don't speak the language, 10 means you're fluent. How are you fluent in English?
English?
Yeah.
Probably 10.
Tagalog.
I'm a 6'7" there.
You're French.
5'4".
Spanish.
4.
Okay.
I've been practicing my Spanish a little bit more than my French, but
claro. Yeah. I think you're gonna do fine.
Yeah.
It might get a little shame for the French, just for not speaking French, but I think I've learned spending time in Europe is.
I can speak like a little bit, like semi-conversational,
exactly.
But not like.
But I think as long as you try, they're fine.
Yeah, I mean,
most people want to speak English.
Yeah, I mean, I when I've traveled in Europe, I at least make an effort to kind of speak the language, and then they'll be like, "Okay, we'll just do it in English."
A ver, meaning let's see.
Like,
let's see.
I'm trying.
You are trying. No, I think the idea that a person shows up, backpack, heart open, sunscreen, whatever the thing is, water, and it's a spiritual journey. I mean, I can see the other element where I'm kind of extreme, where I would be like, you know what, I'm going for 33 days, but I'm not going to talk, or I'm going to fast every other. Like, I'm kind of the person who's like, I want to go with the deepest part of the beyond the spiritual. I'm going to be like, okay, what's the thing that I always rely on? It's me chatting, talking. I'm just going to take it off the plate. I'm going to walk at 33 days and not talk.
And they were like, are you okay? Okay, never mind.
And then I go, I give a thumbs up. No, I think walking-in's enough, 33. How's your mom feel about this?
At first, she was a little apprehensive because I'm going by myself.
And for a long time.
But now she's, she's okay with it. She's growing to the idea, this is something I wanted to do for myself for a long time. And, now she's like helping me, prepare for it. So she's on 100% on board now. So, but she is still a little, there's a layer of apprehensiveness still there going.
Yeah, say, Mom, I'm going to travel pass on my phone. You can text me on WhatsApp. And
he's like, call me every day just to make sure you're okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. Luckily, I get with the advances of technology in the last 20 years, that communication is there. So it's like, there's no matter what. So
there was a time where it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least I'll be able to, message her saying, I'm here now. I've reached my albergue. I'm doing okay. I'm just going to rest for the night. Yeah.
How are you going to document it? Through video, audio,
both.
Writing?
Video. Yeah. I've figured out the lightest way possible I could bring my camera. I'm not bringing my big cameras. Have a kind of like the small ones that I have, which is great. It's more than enough that I need to document, the journey itself, and kind of, be able to capture those moments that I feel I want to capture.
Do you have a hat?
I have a beanie.
You need a hat for the sun.
Oh, I do have one actually. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I do.
Are you getting new shoes?
I already bought my shoes.
This episode of the Camino is brought to you by ASICS. No, are you wearing Brooks? What are you wearing for the trip?
Ultra trail runners.
Wow.
I can't do boots. Boots kind of make my feet uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're clunky.
And I've worn them before. And they're just
Meh.
Trail runners feel so much better.
Yeah.
On my feet.
Grip. Yeah, they get grip, but they're kind of modified like a running shoe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
It's happening. It's wild. We've been talking about it a long time.
We have. I mean, initially I wanted to go last year, but that didn't work out. But I think this is the perfect time for it. This year, my 40th year, this is the moment for me to take that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it a lot, the idea that, it's our nature as humans to grow old and experience illness and death. It's really our nature, and we struggle because we have an attachment to our physical body, and so it makes it really tough for people to make decisions. But I think you're wise, though, to go now, because I think the mentality in America is like, hey, we're going to work till we're 55, 60, retire, and then go do all these things. Most people, their body is not equipped for that, or they're not prepared for that.
Right.
And somehow you're a runner, and you're a storyteller, filmmaker, so you move on. You're always on the go telling stories, and you always have your bag. That this seems like the ideal time, just because I think we talked about this, I think yesterday on the call, a call that you and I had. We didn't record, but this idea that maybe there's more purpose on the path that you'll find, especially in terms of what we do as storytellers and this connection to humanity. Do you remember what we were speaking to yesterday? It was so eloquent, the way you put it.
Well, yeah, I mean, now that I'm deep into preparing for this, it's kind of changed my mindset quite a bit in terms of how I look at things in terms of career-wise and the path that I've been taking, where I don't feel like it's my place is somewhere necessarily in the main entertainment of like what we see, like Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
It's more focusing on the humanitarian aspect of life, documenting that and sharing so many other stories that need to be told, being a voice for others that need a voice. And that's something I feel like I am moving towards more, especially with working with you in the last couple of years. It's kind of, I guess I could say, like, when we teamed up to work together, that's kind of the catalyst of starting things of how I looked at things. Because back then when we were younger, we were like, I'm going to be Hollywood, I'm going to be director.
The value of getting degrees in film and being filmmakers and doing everything from directing, writing, editing, producing.
Yeah.
Is that, our goal is to get to the place of Hollywood where it's distributed in theaters or on television. But like you said, I think with COVID and everything that since we've been collaborating, especially after I survived leukemia, that I was like, I've been given this gift. We've been given this gift to tell stories visually. Mm. And I've made a pretty good career of making money I made money off building things for other people, movies and TV, and they were able to benefit from that. But it didn't benefit the whole society. And I think the things that we've been doing around, content around Black Lives Matter, around cancer care, around philanthropy, all the things that we do is to help assist others. And I think that's something you're speaking to, right? Is that telling stories about humanity are the stories that we absolutely need.
Right.
Stories telling Hollywood is more like, hey, give the people what they want. It's like more Marvel movies, more blah, blah, blah. But I think it's like, no, I think it's more about people deeply want to see stories of compassion and love and peace. And part of that is like, as you said, giving voice to the voiceless is everything. Exactly.
And with this, pilgrimage, it's really cementing that mindset that, this is where I have to be.
Yeah, this is where you have to be.
It's where I have to be. And it's fun. I'm looking forward to it, just thinking about it right now. It's, it's a journey that I've been waiting for so long to take. And it's really just dawning on me, like, in the last week, that's like, it's finally here. It's kind of like a kid waiting for the cookies to get cold, fresh from the oven. Like, you don't want to burn your fingers just yet. And so it's one of those moments.
I think it's even like Christmas, It's just like, well, once Thanksgiving happens, when you're a kid in the 80s, it was just everything was leading up to the day of Christmas, waking up and
opening those presents.
Yeah, and I think that you're in an interesting spot because you said, like, that's a great episode for the title for the episode. Just, I'm right where I want to be, or this is where I'm at, kind of thing. And I think there's going to be a lot of things revealed to you. I think that the most important thing is really like, can you curb your expectations every day? What I mean by that is like, you assume there's a map. You're walking from point A to point B. We're going to be walking from France to Santiago, that you're typically going to cover this many miles a day. Mm. But then the elements that are out of your control will be the things that influence you the most.
Right.
Meaning, if you come in with the expectations of like every day is going to be smooth, it's going to be sunny. When it rains, you're going to be like, if you get hurt, you have an injury, or you forgot something at the other camp. But those are actually the opportunities to like let go of who you think you are and let go of how you think things are going to unfold. Because the path is the path. The Camino is the Camino. The only thing that's new to the path is you.
Exactly.
So if you arrive and you're kind of like, if you could approach every single day, Jen, as a beginner, like you wake up and go like, oh, today's a new walk. Instead of being like, this is day 3 of 33. Here we go. Like when you start losing maybe perhaps the book covers of how this story is going to unfold, you know what I mean? The story is your story from page 1 to the end. But we're focused usually on those 33 days. You have a cover on it, book cover. If you could let go of like making every page, every day a chapter, you kind of just let every day unfold. Yeah, I think it's going to be, you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
You know what I mean? One of those things I knew from the get-go is like, I'm, letting go of all those expectations. I knew from the outset, I'm like, even though it's like, as humans, it is hard for us to let go of expectations, but it's one of those things
so hard
that I think will be a good lesson for me to enact.
Yeah, I would use you as, I love teaching meditation. I've taught, became certified in 2019. I've been guiding meditation every week. And I think it's the part that I always come to is that I typically teach what I'm struggling through or the thing that I'm working through. I guide. And so the thing with this is the same as like, as you go into it, staying open to letting things change you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, keeping your heart open, just letting the experience is going to happen today.
Yeah.
But remembering, like, don't worry about the path tomorrow because the Camino requires your attention today.
Just be in the present, that step you're taking on that dirt right now. Just focus on that. Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be huge.
It is.
It's huge.
I mean, I'll be interested to see what our conversation will be like when I'm back.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to record it in Europe. I find more and more the call to change environments. And I found that my time in the last 2 years, I've been going back to Spain often, is that I just feel conditioned as a Westerner about the way I move, how I view money, how I view food, how I view travel, how I view humanity. And so I think when you go into an environment for a month, you're absolutely not going to be the same person.
No. I mean...
So...
And I think it's a change that I'm ready for.
Yeah.
I've done the same thing for 40 years.
Do you feel that way?
At times I do.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, like, change is good.
Does that realization make you sad that, think about it. I'm sure a lot of us, a lot of people feel like they do a lot of the every day is the same. But that's a choice. But for you, does it feel like you've spent 40 years kind of doing one consistent version of Jen, or?
Yeah. To a degree, yes, I will say. And, being able to open up a new version of me, it's going to be refreshing. I'm looking forward to it. And it's one thing that I probably needed for a while. I just didn't realize until, these last couple days or so. And I think it's one of those things that I think every person probably needs to a point, because we're so stuck, especially here in the US, in that monotony of the routine. So we do that for years on end. And so one little blip, it sends us all in a tailspin and we don't know what to do. And there's a point where you kind of get a taste of it and you realize that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
It's like I most likely needed that.
No, I think you need this, and I think everybody needs an opportunity to awaken to a new experience. So we can. It's just so normal. Our brain has 70,000, 80,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are pretty negative. But our heart, our intuitive heart, the sense of feeling, the sense of soul, sense of alma, as they say in Spanish, that part is very coherent. My heart is very open, but it's simplicity. But my brain is a mess. It's totally chaos. And so this idea that again, I think you having the courage to like go into something for so long. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was 33 days until you told me. And I'm like, yeah, 3 weeks, right? Like a couple weeks. You can do this walk. That you really, I mean, you're going to be a different person because you basically, you're fish out of water, but you've given yourself permission to be like, I'm going to open my heart to the experience, and maybe things will change my mind, but maybe things will change my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's one of those experiences I'm looking forward to. It's, again, like just like thinking of those things that I'm about to experience it's really exciting. And it's one of those things where, it feels refreshing. That's what I was thinking. It feels refreshing. Not that same old that I've been used to. So this change it's going to be good. Looking forward to it. Yeah,
it's definitely not routine. It's refreshing for sure. So you told us about how far, which is very far. You told us about when. So the weather is going to be pretty good. You nailed it on that. It's going to get hot towards the end of May, though.
Mid-May through mid-June.
This will be a little hotter, which might be better because you have less to carry in your bag. But
make sure I have tons of sunscreen. Lather it all on.
And the budget-wise, it was like, hey, I got to buy a ticket, and then you have price of food and hostel. Mm-hmm. That seems pretty reasonable in Europe, no?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially, there are like slightly some hotels and stuff, but I don't plan on staying in those hotels. Mostly just hostels and
Is there a hostel every day you can find on the path? There's that many.
Yeah, and really? And the cool thing is that a lot of the times it's kind of like the municipal ones. So which is like they're donation based, and they're kind of run by whatever church or local government is within that town. So a lot of it is kind of like refurbished to like monasteries or whatnot, converted into hostels for people to stay one night or two, depending on what their policy is. And most pilgrims usually use that to just stay for their journey, because really you're just going to be sleeping. That's it. You just need a bed for the night.
And shower, right? Or
shower.
Whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Maybe you should bring like at Costco, if you have children, you get this huge box of baby wipes. Maybe you should bring baby wipes.
I have wipes in my, but the thing is, like, I can't bring the giant big one
because it's not on the plane. You can't carry it down.
No, it's heavy.
Well, it's heavy. Yeah, you're right. So
maybe like a small pack, and then luckily throughout the route there's like local markets or grocery stores there, so I could replenish it if I need to. So I know, like, I'm not gonna bring too much of like certain necessities.
My concern, as you can hear in my voice, is what do I do when I need to go to the bathroom, and then the other one I have to shower. So I guess it's all saved for the hostel, or
hostel.
Okay.
I mean, there's also restaurants and whatnot along the way, so if you need to use the restroom, you can.
Just come in as a sweaty hiker and be like, hey.
Yeah, just make sure you buy something from them, so
¿Dónde está el baño?
Right. Sí, derecho.
I'm excited for you, and wow, can you tell I'm on the show and I'm a co-host, but basically I do nothing. I sit here and then you run around and do all these kind of super adventurous things.
What are you talking about? I mean, like, you do too.
Yeah, but when we're on the small talk, I'm like, this person is.
I'm crazy.
No, I think you're inspired. I think that let me for my own curiosity, there's 3 soulful questions that I would ask in meditation. And I'm curious which one resonates with you in terms of your walkabout, your sojourn. 3 soulful questions that we ask in meditation is, who am I? Who am I really? And I wonder as you walk the path and you arrive in early May, that you'd be like, who am I today? And who you'd be 33 days from then. The second question is, what does my heart truly desire? And the idea is you ask these questions not because you're seeking an answer. You ask the question so you can live the answer.
Yeah.
So as you go through, it's like, day 3, day 4, it's like, what does my heart truly desire? Because my thing is like, you might just be like, gosh, I kind of want to live in Europe. Or it's more like, now I want to have a partner and have children. Or it's more like, no, I want to go back and do these things. That's the second question. And the third question is, how can I do things from in a dharmic perspective or purpose? Like, what can I do in the world that I will love doing, but will help serve others? What is the thing that I feel called to do that will ultimately gives me purpose, but also serves the greater whole? And those are 3 questions I have for you as you go through your journey. Is who am I? What does my heart truly desire? And how can I serve by doing what I love?
You should ask me that when I come back.
I will, but I'm going to set it up right now because I do hope that you'll ask those questions to yourself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those are fantastic questions, actually. And it's perfect for this purpose.
Absolutely. They're not mine. They're from the sacred sages of life. But those are 3 that are they're critical in the sense they're clear. They're simple because if you ask yourself, who am I, every single day, you're not going to be the same person every single day. You're not.
That is true.
You think you are circumstantially. I am this way. But I think it's, and then what my heart truly desires, like, what we want to eat on Monday is very different than what we want to eat on Friday. Mm-hmm. But again, if you ask the question, eventually that little notebook of yours, you'll start writing answers because you're living the answer. Yeah. And I think that there might be a great awakening of 33 days may not lead to this, I fell into a lake and I fell in these gold doubloons and now I'm rich. I think it's more like you're walking the path, with this inquisitive inquiry, having a self-inquiry about who am I, and that as you go through the sojourn of the path, realizing that every step you take is a miracle. Every step you take is freedom. Every step you take on the Camino is life. I think things will unfold for you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I'm
you getting the feels right now?
Yeah. Like here.
Yeah. Why'd you get the feels? What part of it is I'm saying that is making you feel so deeply?
It's just that, really in general, like that, the path of self-discovery. Because here, as much as I could self-discover in my own hometown, there's only so much self-discovery I could do. But this is a whole nother place where it's foreign territory for me. And it gets me out of my own element where it pushes me to be out of my comfort zone.
It's hard for people. Mm-hmm. Because to your point, like when you get there, everything outside of yourself in the exterior world will be absolutely different. But the thing is consistently you is churning within, and you see like, this at the end of the day, I'm me, and this is my soul, and this is how I'm traveling, and you're a cosmic traveler at that point. I 100% know that this path, when we go on these sojourns, is they're completely magical, and it only asks us to show up.
Exactly.
It's the rubber process, to show up to the path. Let the rest go. If you're running behind, you're running ahead, it doesn't really matter because as long as you're happy in terms of, not happy, but as long as you're breathing and you're moving, God's grace will protect you.
And I'm in there. I'm ready to accept whatever it is.
Woo! You're a warrior. Really, really, really.
I'm sending like, hey guys, selfie. Made it safe. Peace sign.
Yeah, you might look small in stature because you're 5 foot, and that doesn't seem very intimidating. But my mom is 5 foot, and she's an intense, dangerous person because I trust her, but she's passionate. And I hope that people will see how multidimensional you are and how strong you are. But I hope that you realize for yourself how strong you are.
Looking back on it, our paths were meant to cross multiple times in this lifetime. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, like how we're here sitting now in the studio, and how so many things have aligned for both of us. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing.
You saw me almost exit 10 years ago.
Exactly.
And I think about all the people. I think about it, all the people at City of Hope, or all the people I've never have met 10 years ago. I mean, if I had passed 10 years ago, I want to know them today. Mm. And yeah, I mean, if anything, I look at you, myself within your hero of your own story. I'm like a older brother, Akuya, and I just my whole thing is like making sure you feel safe, and more important that that you're a badass and you can do it. And I think that's really important to me.
Oh yeah,
super important to me. And then you'll take photos and I'll get to experience it vicariously through you. But I have a feeling that I'm going to do this walk at some point in my life.
Yeah, I have a feeling you will too.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many ones too. There's one that goes from Portugal.
En serio.
There's one that goes like up north in the Del Norte, and so many different paths. So it's not just the one I'm taking.
I'm sad you're not going to. Essentially, when your trip ends, you're going to fly out of Madrid, the capital of Spain, but you won't be able to go to my art gallery in Barcelona.
Kind of bummed about that, but that doesn't mean I won't be coming back.
Nah, come on. Of course.
I do.
I
still have my plans to visit, and I really want to. Like, every time I tell people who visit Barcelona, I like, go to this gallery, check it out.
I mean,
By the way, for you listeners, Ian's gallery is called Alchemy.
Yeah, that's right. ARTQUEMY, as in alchemy, art and alchemy together.
Alchemy. And tell us what it's about real quick in terms of what the gallery does.
Oh, really? Is this a moment for me to spotlight?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I magically went to Spain 2 years ago, and I come from a family of artists. Mi familia es artistas. Mi padre, mi hermano, abuelitas y hijos, all artistas. And my dream was when I saw the street art in Barcelona. I've been around street art most of my life in Los Angeles, but a lot of the art in Spain can be seen in America because a lot of the artists don't have the right papers or visas. And I found it really tragic. And so a year ago, I went to around Jefferson in Los Angeles trying to find a space for a gallery. It was ridiculously expensive, especially after COVID, for commercial real estate. That I decided I'm going to open up an art gallery in the heart of Barcelona, El Born, with my business partner Bernardo, and we did it. And when we started, it was really, for me, it was more about bigger ethos moments where art to me is the fight for freedom. And I found nothing more spectacular than trying to attempt to build global community through global artists. And that's exactly what we've done. And now we're, we've been only open to the public for 10 months, but when we started, we had 9 artists. And now we have 33 global artists from all over the world. Chile, Venezuela, Brazil, Spain, Italy, France, Canada. And now we have our newest artists that I came up with from Los Angeles are now in the gallery on the wall. And it's a complete miracle. It's a complete miracle. And for me, as much as I like to take, if there's any credit, I think it's the magic of life that back in 2 years ago when I was supposed to go to Japan, I ended up in Barcelona and I followed my heart. And some things started to unfold that were beyond me. And I think that's what I'm saying for you is the idea that you show up and say, hey, I have 33 days in Europe. That's just a window of time. Mm-hmm. Because I ended up going to Barcelona for 11 days and it completely changed my life. And now it's changing lives for a lot of artists who could not make money because they were painting in the streets. Mm-hmm. Now we're on canvas through prints in a gallery, and now pieces are being shipped from India to Dubai.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen, many of the art that's being sold there. Mm-hmm. They're pretty awesome.
Fantastic.
They're amazing. And the thing is, we need to showcase more people like that because art isn't just one way.
No, and it's definitely not, working at a gallery or working at a movie studio in Beverly Hills for many years. I walked around at the art galleries in Beverly Hills, and most of it feature artists of dead people because art is a commodity. So you see work from Basquiat, Warhol, Lichtenstein, Klee, and they're all artists that it's like, hey, this painting, no matter the context of the painting, it's worth this much money. but they never featured any emerging artists who are rising from the ground that are relevant today because their paintings are reflecting our humanity of today
and the social influences that we see all around. And that's awesome. Like, and it's their interpretation of what it is, which is different to each person's eyes, which is amazing to see. Like how one person sees one thing, it's different to another person. So it's really cool. I've seen many of it. Like you have some here in the studio, and
I do.
And just the social commentary of it all is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm excited because I think that it's just the beginning, but I in my heart, I don't feel like I have that. It has nothing to do with me. And I mean that because I think that although my catalyst to making the gallery happen, I think it was what you're doing with the Camino, is that when you show up to what is the present moment, the potentiality of a moment is pure potentiality. Anything can happen when we've let go of how we think things are supposed to be done or how things are supposed to unfold.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for the alchemy, love.
Yeah, of course. It's one of the things I knew I wanted to talk about on the podcast because, from a little idea that you brainstormed with Bernardo, this gallery just, it's becoming more than what
it's a movement.
It's a movement.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more than what you initially thought of when you put that idea down on paper.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but now that it's unfolding like a flower, como flora, it's unfolding. I see that it's like it's a baby that it doesn't belong to me; it belongs to the people, and that's kind of what all the content we do, right? The humanity part is like it's always about the people. It's always about the people.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm sure we'll be talking about more of the gallery in the weeks and months to come because I am planning to go visit. So
you're going back already, and then you're gonna see all this France and Spain, and I think it's more that it really is just beginning because I think when we start to look at the world, it's more of we're a global a global community, but more that we're humans, we're human beings,
right?
And that, culture and all these things, language are all politics, religion are all barriers to make us really have made us forget that we really belong to each other. Therefore, like Baba Ramdas says, we're all walking each other home. It becomes really important to understand that all of the actions we take impacts everybody. It's hard because we think in our head, like, I make a decision, I did this, or I won this award, I made this money. But like, it's all because you're part of an ecosystem of humanity. And until we realize that, I'm here for a reason. Right. There is no Jen, there is no Ian in the universe at this moment. That it becomes a requirement. It is absolutely necessary for us to play a part.
Exactly.
Preach.
Woo. Oh, we don't have a... Do we have a? No.
No, it's all right though. I don't need I don't need a sound effect for that.
We do.
How do you want to wrap this up?
Well, I don't know. I think we're sending it off on a good note because you and I are prospering in our own paths. I
think we are. The thing is though, see how I hook it. I always like it. The thing is prospering. It's interesting. Prospering in life is usually meant around finance. I think, right, prosperity, but I really think it's around health as wealth. And I also think that there's so much power in pamilya and family and community and togetherness that, you and I are very abundant in that.
And for me, prosperity isn't necessarily financial either. It's more like, in a sense, our spirituality of things, how we perceive our outlook. And it's helping us navigate, so many unnecessary things in this world right now. And it's without that, we wouldn't be sitting across from each other.
Maybe. If we're eating.
True.
But on the podcast tip, I think this is going to be, I think we're all walking towards something that, is written. It's the paradox, right? Is it free choice or is it fate? And my thing is I think it's both. How can that be? I said it's paradox. It's the idea that, you're meant, they call it, in Spanish, destino, but it's destiny that you would go to Spain and France. But like, well, it's destiny, then did you have no choice? Like, no, you have to have choice to get on that plane.
Well,
absolute choice.
We're going to fly off into another world. So we're going to leave it at that. We'll definitely have more conversations as the weeks to come before I leave. And I'm sure for that. So we'll leave it here, folks. Thank you so much for joining us this week in another episode of Small Talk Tuesday. Do like the video on YouTube, comments, and follow us on wherever you listen to your podcasts. But until then, we're going to go eat something.
Nos vemos, Jen. Nos vemos pronto.
Yeah.
Venga.
But on that note, we'll see you all later.
Ciao, ciao for now.
Ciao.